Hi everyone. Today we will be discussing about library module in Fedena. So library module you can find from academics. You can see library module here. So in library module you have to configure the library card settings first. So we can go to library settings and you can create some library card settings for each class. So let me select class 1 and you can see I already created 2 library card settings. So it is for these categories. So it means if you edit this, you can see for the financially weak students, they can take 50 books in 30 days. In the same way, for the student siblings, they can take 10 book within 28 days like that. So you can create as many library card that you want. Settings, the configuration that you need, you can make it as a library card settings here. So after completing that settings, move ahead with manage book additional details. So here you can manage the additional details like book price, book category, publisher, etc. This means while adding a book, these details will be coming. So you have to give the fee active value for that. So this is all about the manage book additional details. So in the same way, if you want to manage the tags, you can click this and you can see these all are the tags that we added while creating the books. So you can see in library, in manage books, we can add the books. So you can see these all are the books and you can see the title of that book, book number, or the tags and status. So if you want to add a new book, you can click this option that is add books and you can see the book number that is listed automatically, that is LIB 063, and you can give a name. Let me give one name. I'm giving the name as data structure and the author I can give. After that, I can give a tag. So if you want to create a new tag, you can give a custom tag like programming, something like that. So it will be, so if you want to add any custom tag, you can give the name and you can create that. Before that, if you need to change the number of copies, I can change and I can create that. So these are the additional details that we configured in library. So book price that I can give as 250 and the book category I'm giving. The publisher also I have to give, and this is not mandatory, it is optional, so I can skip that. So in this way I can add the books in Fedena library. So you can see the book that we added like this. So 3 books that we added. The count we are giving as 3. So in this way you can see this is the book number like this. So the status you can see available. So we can go to library and you can search the book. So let me search that book and I can use by book number. So either you can search by barcode, book number, title, tag or author. So let me search by using the book number. So I can see the detail of the book. Either I can reserve the book or issue this book. It means reserve in the sense it will be reserved for some time for that particular student or the employees. Otherwise, if an employee or the student is coming to library and they need this book, at the time we can issue this book to that particular employee or student. So we can search by that employee or student name and we can search, and in this way we can assign the student with the subject. So you can see this student is already taken one book that you can see, and the issue date, due date that you can give here. So the due date that you can give, the thing is that if the student is returning that book after this due date, then you can collect some amount from the student like as a fine. So this book has been issued. So in this way you can issue that book. So if you want to renew that book, you can click this book renewal option and you can search by that name. It is LIB 063. So this is the book that we give recently. So you can see that if you want to change the due date, so as an administrator or a privileged employee, they can change the date and they can renew that. So the book date has been renewed. So in this way you can create, like you can add the books, then you can search the book and you can issue the book with students or employees. Then you can, if you want to renew the date, you can renew. And one more thing, in some institution, you will be having some barcode system. So at that time, you can search by a book number or title or tag or author. So let me search by book number, and I can add the barcode for these respective books like this. I can add. So it will be helpful for them for returning or renewing their books. So I can go click this finish. So in this way, you can upload the barcode for managing those barcodes. So if you want to return a particular book, you can click this option, that is return book, and you can search by a book number or a barcode, and I can search by book and I can get that book detail. So you can see for this student, the due date as August 2nd. So the due date has not exceeded. So that is why we don't have an option to add fine. If the due date has been exceeded, then as an administrator or a privileged employee, you can add fine. After that, you can return. So it means you will get some fine from the student if the due date has been exceeded. So in this way, you can return book from the students. So if you want to see the movement log like issued or renewed book status, you can click this and you can see the movement logs like this. So these all are the status for the students, like a book number you can see, and borrowed by the student name. You can see the status, you can see it is all returned. Issue date and due date you can see. So in this way you can see the movement logs for the library books in Fedena library. So at last you can see an option like library fine. If any of the student has been exceeded that due date, they have to pay an additional fine. So at that fine amount they can collect from this return book option. So if you want to see the detail of that fine, you can click this and you can search by that student. You can see, otherwise you can give the end date and start date. So you can see this student paid this much amount for that, for this on this date for library as a fine, because that student exceeded the due date. That is why she paid an extra amount as a fine. So in this way you can collect fine amount from library. So in this way you can manage all those things in library, like books. You can create a book, you can issue that book. If the due date has been exceeded, then you can collect some fine amount and you can return the book. So it is all about the library module in Fedena.